Hello and welcome to Review Time Gaming. My name is Eric, and in this video we're going to do an in-depth beginner walkthrough of the character creation system in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, full disclosure, I've never played a Baldur's Gate game or Dungeons & Dragons style game until now, so I know just how overwhelming it can really be to a new player who's starting a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which seemingly has all these complex systems and mechanics. And because of this, I wanted to create a Baldur's Gate 3 series of videos focused on getting beginners to the series acquainted with the game. So when you start a new game in Baldur's Gate 3, after seeing a short cutscene, you are forwarded to this page over here. This is a character creation page. Now at the top, you'll see all the sections that you have to go through. We have origin, race, appearance, class, skills, and abilities. So I spent quite a bit of time looking over these, especially as a new player. There's a lot in each of these categories, and there's a lot to go through. In my opinion, it made the most sense to me to start in class, have a look at what kind of class you want to play as, and then move over to race, origin, appearance, skills, and then abilities. Now, you may want to do it differently. I'm just saying that this made the most sense to me as a new player to the series. So let's start with class. There's 6 classes to choose from. Got the Cleric, the Fighter, Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, and Wizard. So let's go through each of these. Cleric. Clerics are representatives of the gods they worship, wielding the potent divine magic for good or ill. And then we have some subclasses here. So we have Life Domain, Light Domain, Trickery Domain. Okay, so let's see what these are. Life Domain. The Life Domain is an aspect of many good deities, offering spells that protect and restore the mind, body, and soul. The Light Domain is offered by deities of justice, majesty, and primordial flame, providing spells that dispel darkness and harm the undead. Trickery Domain, a domain shared by wicked, chaotic, and mischievous deities alike. Those who channel trickery specialize in deception and illusion magic. And then below that we have Deity. Now there's so many options here that I'm just going to scroll through them to show you how many there are, but I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. Now that you've seen those, there may be slight variation between each, of course, below, but in general, you have 3 cantrips to choose from. Cantrips are like spells or abilities that your character can use as many times as they want. For this class, we have Guidance, Light, Resistance, Sacred Flame, and Thaumaturgy. So you choose which 3 you want. Whatever you choose will be up here. And then when you're done with your selections, you click done. And then you scroll down below that, you have prepared spells. Again, you choose 3. So you hit customize. You have Bane, Command, Create Water, Gilding Bolt, Healing Word, Inflict Wounds, Protection from Evil and Good, and Shield of Faith. So again, you choose whatever 3 you want. So spells do act differently than cantrips, and we'll see that in the gameplay later on in later videos. And then below that, we see class features. So there's Wisdom, Charisma, Light Armor, Medium Armor, Shield Proficiency, Weapon Proficiency, and then the subclass features, Heavy Armor, Disciple of Life, Domain Spells. So scroll through the different deities you're interested in. There doesn't seem to be a huge difference, if any. Next up for classes we have Fighter. Fighters have mastered the art of combat, wielding weapons with unmatched skill and wearing armor like a second skin. And then we have class features. So I got Strength, Constitution, Light Armor, Medium Armor, Heavy Armor, Shield, and Weapon Proficiency with no subclasses. Next up we have Ranger. Rangers are unrivaled scouts and trackers, honing a deep connection with nature in order to hunt their favorite prey. So you have favorite enemy, so you choose one of these. You got Bounty Hunter. Gain proficiency in investigation and learn the Thieves' Cant passive. Creatures you restrain have a harder time escaping. You got Keeper of the Veil. You specialize in hunting creatures from other planes of existence. You gain proficiency in Arcana and can cast protection from good and evil. Then you got Mage Breaker. You have a history of battling spellcasters. Gain proficiency with Arcana and the True Strike cantrip, which gives you advantage on attack rolls against a creature. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for this spell. got Ranger Knight. You have sworn to serve a crown or nation and seek to bring its foes to ruin. Gain proficiency with history and heavy armor. And then you have Sanctified Stalker. You swore to hunt the enemies of a holy or druidic order. Gain proficiency in religion and the Sacred Flame cantrip, which deals 1d8 radiant. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for this spell. And then you have Natural Explorer. So we got Beast Tamer. You have cultivated a strong bond with animals. You can cast Find Familiar as a ritual. Urban Tracker, an expert at navigating the wild within the city. You gain proficiency with the Disguise Kit and Thieves Tools. Wasteland Wanderer Cold. You have spent endless days surviving desolate tundras. Gain resistance to cold damage, taking only half damage from it. Same thing for fire, and same thing for poison. And then down here we have the class features. So strength, dexterity, armor, light and medium, shield, and weapon proficiency. Next up we have the class Rogue. So it looks like there's no subclasses here. Rogue with stealth, skill, and uncanny reflexes. A rogue's versatility lets them get the upper hand in almost any situation. And then you got the class features of dexterity, intelligence, light armor, simple weapon proficiency, crossbow proficiency, longbow proficiency, rapier, and short sword proficiency. And then you got two actions. You got sneak attack, which is a melee attack, and a ranged sneak attack. Next up we have Warlock. Bound by a pact to an all-powerful patron, Warlocks trade their loyalty for supernatural abilities and unique magic. And we got subclasses here. So we got the Fiend, the Great Old One. So that's two subclasses. So the Fiend, Warlocks in service to fiends work together, corrupting destructive ends intentionally or otherwise, and receive hellish blessings in return. You get to choose from two cantrips, and so again you can customize. Got Blade Ward, Chill Touch, Eldritch Blast, Friends, Mage Hand, Poison Spray, and True Strike. So again, you choose two, they appear up here. And then spells, you choose two. Armor of Agathis, Arms of Hadar, Burning Hands, Charm Person, Command Halt, Expeditious Retreat, Hellish Rebuke, Hex, Protection from Evil and Good, and Witch Bolt. So again, choose two from the 10, and they appear up here. And then the class features, you got Warlock spell slots, Wisdom, Charisma, Light Armor, and Simple Weapon Proficiency, and the subclass feature of the Dark One's Blessing. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, this gift from your patron grants you Charisma modifier plus level hit points. So it looks like you gain some health whenever you kill an enemy. Let's check out the next one, the Great Old One. Warlocks bound to eldritch beings in the far realms work towards inscrutable goals, gaining strange powers over entropy and the mind. So again, we got those two cantrips, got those two spells. Seems to be the same here. You got the Warlock spell slots, Wisdom, Charisma, Light Armor, and Simple Weapon Proficiency. And the last class we have is the Wizard. Wizards master their arcane by specializing in individual schools of magic, combining ancient spells with modern research. So you can choose from 3 cantrips: Acid Splash, Blade Ward, Chill Touch, Dancing Lights, Firebolt, Friends, Light, Mage Hand, Poison Spray, Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, and True Strike. Then you can choose 6 spells, so a lot more than the other ones. Burning Hands, Charm Person, Color Spray, Disguise Self, Expeditious Retreat, False Life, Feather Fall, Find Familiar, Fog Cloud, Grease, Jump, Long Strider, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Protection from Good and Evil, Ray of Sickness, Sleep, Thunderwave, and Witch Bolt. And then last but not least, we have Prepared Spells. So you choose 4 from the 6 of Mage Armor, Fog Cloud, Grease, Thunderwave, Sleep, and Witch Bolt. And then we see here the class features spell slots unlocked, intelligence, wisdom, dagger proficiency, dart, sling proficiency, quarterstaff, and light crossbow proficiency, with the action of arcane recovery. Once per day out of combat, replenish expended spell slots, which allow you to cast spells. Now that you know or have an idea of what kind of character you want to play, like what kind of play style you want to take in this game, my suggestion would be to go to race. So there's different ways of doing this. So every race has, again, different features and subtraits. So you can choose to look at what your class was and then build on top of those traits and proficiencies, or you can choose to spread out. So things you didn't get in the class that maybe you wanted. So like if you want to play as a wizard, but you also want to play stealthy, so you wouldn't really have a lot of stealth proficiency and features in here. So then you would choose your wizard class and then go to race, and then you would choose a race that has stealth-based proficiencies. So let's start from here. We got Elf, there's High Elf, and Wood Elf. High Elf, heirs of the mystical Feywild. High Elves value magic in all of its forms, and even those who do not study the spellcraft can manipulate the weave. And then you got Cantrip, so you choose one of these. Acid Splash, Blade Ward, Chill Touch, Dancing Lights, Friends, Light, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray, Shocking Grasp, True Strike. So now this is on top of your class abilities. So that's why I recommend going to class first, because now you know what spells and cantrips you have, if any, from your class. And now you can choose something else that you wanted but maybe didn't have space for, and you could put it in here. And then for race features, we have Keen Senses, Fey Ancestry, Dexterity, Long Sword, Short Sword, Longbow, Shortbow Proficiency, and Dark Vision. This creature can see in the dark within 12 meters. Pretty cool. And sub-race traits, base racial speed, and intelligence +1. Moving on to Wood Elf. Wood Elves spend their reclusive lives in Faerun's forest. Decades of training in archery and camouflage are enhanced by an otherworldly swiftness. Okay, so we got the same race features, and the sub-race traits are fleet of foot, so your walking speed is faster. Mask of the Wild. You were raised to blend into natural surroundings. You gain proficiency in stealth and wisdom +1. Okay. Next up we have Typhling, and there's Asmodeus Typhling, Mephistopheles Typhling, and Zerial Typhling. Asmodeus Typhling, bound to Nessus, the deepest layer of hells. These Typhlings inherit the ability to wield fire and darkness from the archdevil Asmodeus' infernal bloodline. Race features, Hellish Resistance. Your blood protects you from flame, abyssal or otherwise. You have resistance to fire and take only half damage from it. And Dark Vision. And then the sub-race traits are base racial speed, intelligence, and charisma. And then we got the cantrip over here, Thaumaturgy. So manifest a sign of supernatural power that grants you advantage on intimidation and performance checks. Next up we have Mephistopheles Typhling, descended from the archdevil Mephistopheles. These Typhlings are gifted with a particular affinity for arcane magic. We got the same race features, and then we have sub-race traits, racial speed, intelligence, and charisma with the cantrip of Mage Hand. Create a spectral hand that can manipulate and interact with objects. It's pretty cool. And then we have Zerial Typhling. Typhlings from the Zerial bloodline are empowered with martial strength and can channel searing flame to punish their enemies. Same features. And then sub-race traits are base racial speed, strength, and charisma with the cantrips of Thaumaturgy. Moving on to Drow, so we have Lothsworn Drow, Saldarine Drow. That's two sub-races. So Lothsworn Drow, raised by Loth's cult in the city of Menzoberranzan. These Drow exalt the virtues of their corrupt and merciless goddess. Loth marks her followers with bright red eyes, so the Underdark will learn to fear Drow on sight. Race features, racial speed, Fey Ancestry, Dexterity, Charisma, Rapier, Short Sword, Hand Crossbow, Proficiency, and Superior Dark Vision, with the cantrip of Dancing Lights. Creates wisps of light that illuminate at 12-meter radius. Seldurine Drow. Drow are the result of an ancient schism between the elven deities Corellon, Larethian, and Lolth. The latter's treachery drove the Drow into the Underdark, where they splintered into the warring factions. Seldurine Drow can be found seeking allies from all over Faerun, aiming to settle their conflict with Lolth and each other by any means necessary. Okay, and then we got the same race features with the cantrips of Dancing Light. Next up we have Human. This has to be the most simple one. It seems like they've tried to make it somewhere in the middle, so like a little bit of everything. So the most common face to see in Faerun, humans are known for their tenacity, creativity, and endless capacity for growth. Race features are speed, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Next up we have Githunki. Githunki are peerless warriors from the astral plane, known for their legendary silver blades and red dragon mounts. They seek the total destruction of mind flayers, whose ancient empire enslaved the Githunki for millennia. Race features: base racial speed, intelligence, strength, light armor, medium armor, short sword, long sword, and great sword proficiency, with the Githunki psionics mage hand. Create an invisible spectral hand that can manipulate and interact with objects. Next up we have Dwarf. We got the Gold Dwarf and the Shield Dwarf. Gold Dwarves are known for their confidence and keen intuition. The culture of their deep kingdom values family, ritual, and fine craftsmanship. Race features Dwarven resilience, constitution, battle axe, hand axe, light hammer, war hammer, proficiency, dark vision, Dwarven toughness, base racial speed, and wisdom +1. Dwarven toughness is your hit point maximum increases by 1 and it increases by 1 again every time you gain a level. Okay, and then we got the Shield Dwarf. Shield Dwarves survived a long fall from grace, surrendering many of their ancient kingdoms in wars with goblins and orcs. These losses have led to a cynical mindset, yet Shield Dwarves will endure anything to restore their ancestral homelands. We got the same race features and then the sub-race traits of speed, strength, light, and medium armor proficiency. We got Half-Elf. Under Half-Elf we have High Half-Elf and Wood Half-Elf and Drow Half-Elf. So High Half-Elf, a touch of the Feywild remains in the Half-Elves with this bloodline, and even those untrained in magic possess a hint of wild power. We got the High Elf cantrip. Choose one of these. Acid Splash, Blade Ward, Chill Touch, Dancing Lights, Friends, Light, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray, Shocking Grasp, and True Strike. And then race features. So you can improve 2 of these abilities. 1 point in intelligence, 1 point in strength. It's very customizable. You can add 1 point to wherever you want. You cannot add 2 points to 1. So then we have Fey Ancestry, Charisma, Dark Vision, and the sub-race trait of base racial speed. For the Wood Half-Elf, like their Wood Elf parents, these Half-Elves have a quickened stride and eye for stealth, yet many break away from isolation in Faerun's forests to explore the rest of the realms. And same thing, we got the race features. You basically choose what you want, and then sub-race traits are speed and Mask of the Wild. And then we have the Drought Elf. Most half-drow result from liaisons between Seldurine Drow and Surfacers. While half-drow inherit a few magical gifts, they aren't usually raised in the Underdark. Same thing, choose what you want. And you get speed and the Dancing Lights cantrip. And last up, we have Halflings. We got Lightfoot Halfling, Strongheart Halfling. So under Lightfoot Halfling, we got Lightfoot Halflings are stealthy but social, traveling all over Faerun to make names for themselves. Race features Lucky, Dexterity, and then sub-race are naturally stealthy, base racial speed and charisma. And then Strongheart Halfling, legends say, Dwarven blood gave strong hearts their hardiness. Resistant to poison and wellsprings of endurance, these halflings easily hold their own. Race features are luck and dexterity, and then sub-traits are resilience, speed, and constitution. And I'm just going to show you what each one looks like as a male and a female character. So the elf That's a male. Female. Typhling. Male. Female. Drow. Male. Female. Human. Male. Female. Githunki. Male. Female. Dwarf. Male. Female. Half-elf. Male. Female. The halflings. Male and female. So next up, we're going to go to origin. This is where you choose what gender you want your character to be. So you choose male or female if you haven't chosen already in the race selection. And then you have the origin story over here. Currently, you can only custom create a character, as this is the early access version. But when the full game does come out, we have all of these other origin stories, which I assume are like pre-built classes. And then we have the character name down here. So this is the default setting. It calls you Tav. Just delete that. Type in whatever you want to be your character name. Select background. So another reason I wanted to start from class and then race and end up in origin is because there are all these different backgrounds, and depending on which one you choose, you get different proficiencies down here. So you get 2 more proficiency points. So by now, you should know what class you are and what proficiencies they are. You should know what race you've picked and what proficiencies are there. So now to top it off, whatever you're missing or you wanted that you didn't get in the previous ones, you would come down here to select. So let's just go through all of them quick. We got Noble, it gives you History and Persuasion. Hermit gives you Medicine and Religion. Outlander gives you Athletics and Survival. Sage gives you Arcana and History. Sailor gives you Athletics and Perception. Soldier gives you Athletics and Intimidation. Urchin gives you Sleight of Hand and Stealth. Acolyte gives you Insight Proficiency and Religion Proficiency. Charlatan gives you Deception and Sleight of Hand. Criminal gives you Deception and Stealth. Entertainer gives you Acrobatics and Performance. Folk Hero gives you Animal Handling and Survival. Guild Artisan gives you Insight and Persuasion. Noble gives you History and Persuasion. Also to note, over here it's kind of your character overview. So it has your name, your race, your class, how many points you have in your abilities, so strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. So as you're creating your character from the beginning, so if you were to start with your class, you would see how these points change, and then you add your race, you see how many points you have, you add your background, see how that changes, and then you see you have your proficiencies down here. Okay, you see your cantrips and you have your spells. So as you're making your character, all this is on the side as a kind of summary for you. So once you've chosen your background, now let's go to appearance. There are different voices you can use for your character. Got voice 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have the face, so you can choose the head. There's 6 heads. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will look different for every race you choose. Also depending on the gender. You can choose the skin colors over here, eye colors, 25 different hairstyles, facial hair, depending on your race, hair color, and tattoos, makeup style. So there is a lot of customization here. Okay, so now we've done class, we've done race, origin, appearance. Let's move on to skills. You receive a bonus to every skill that you are proficient in. This bonus increases as you gain levels in your class and applies to all checks for that skill. So this page is going to look different depending on what class and race you've chosen. These you can choose, but these are the presets. So again, based on the class that we chose and based on the race that we chose, these are our preset proficiencies that we can't change. And up here, we can choose which 2 we want. So just unclick whatever's pre-selected. Some might appear here, but you can't click them, and that's because you already chose the background and the origin that gave you these proficiencies already. So we got medicine and religion from being a hermit, which gives you medicine and proficiency. If we were to change that to sage, for example, if we go back here, we see arcane and history are now locked and we can't change those. again, because we got them in Origin. So again, if you play around with this one, you'll see how that affects your options here. Again, not all of them will give you something here. It might have changed down here, so you really do have to kind of go through everything and see what suits you the best. So for now, we'll just choose these. And that's it for this page. Last page for here is abilities. So we have strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And then if you click over here, you'll see, so under strengths we have athletics. Under dexterity there's acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth. Nothing for constitution. Intelligence has arcana, history, investigation, nature, religion. Wisdom has animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, survival. And charisma has deception, intimidation, performance, and persuasion. So now here you'll see everything that you've done up to this point basically. So all of your decisions from classes and race and origin, they've all added points into different things here. So if you chose a race with deception, then that would have given you a point of deception under charisma, and now you have 13 charisma. Again, which you would see over here on the character overview. You can play around with this, and you could take points out, put points in, put a lot of time into just this page alone. So strength influences your chance to land a hit and your damage with strength-based weapons. It affects the distance you can jump and the weight you can carry. Dexterity influences your chance to land a hit and your damage with dexterity-based weapons. It also influences your chance of going first in combat and the enemy's chance of hitting you. Constitution influences your max number of hit points, the amount of damage you can take, so your health. Intelligence, wizards use intelligence as their spellcasting ability, the likelihood the spell will land. So perfect example over here, if you're not playing as a wizard and you're not using any spells, you don't need points in intelligence. So you would take out whatever points you did have and you could put them somewhere else where they're needed more. Wisdom, druids, rangers, and clerics use wisdom as their spellcasting ability, the likelihood the spells will land. And charisma, bards, paladins, sorcerers, and warlocks use charisma as their spellcasting ability, the likelihood that their spells will land. So again, if I'm not gonna be a wizard, take some points out of here, okay, and I could add them to constitution, for example, okay. Again, you can really spend a lot of time going through your class and race and origin, assigning your ability points here. Once you're done, hit venture forth, and this is the last part of the character creation. What do you dream of? Who attracts you? So basically you're building a character who will apparently show up in your dreams. So create someone who you find attractive, or if you just want to have some fun, go for it. So got male or female, whatever floats your boat. You choose their race over here. Again, choose their subrace, get their voice, their head, their horns in this case, skin color, eye color, hairstyle, facial hair. Oh, that's great. Tattoo style, wow. Tattoo intensity, makeup, okay? And then once you're done, click venture forth, and that's it.